Hello, Ryan. You're live on Last Respawn Show. Welcome. How are you, sir?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you for coming on. I am a huge fan of your channel on YouTube. I'm probably gonna mispronounce it, but I'm gonna do it. Archades Games.
Arcades Games.
There you go. I'm a little dyslexic.
Me too. Don't worry.
All right,
That's why
great.
we put the H in there.
Okay. So yeah, give a little bit to the folks watching what your channel entails. You got a little tagline for your channel yet?
Basically all about the history of games, game preservation, and emulation. That's kind of what the cornerstones of the place are.
Yeah, yeah. That is the best way to describe that. What got you into emulation and starting a YouTube channel about it?
Oh man. So I've been using emulators since Windows 95.
Wow.
Like NES, Game Boy, I would do emulation on those on an old Windows 95 laptop back when I was a much younger lad. But essentially, I was going back to school for a bachelor's degree and wasn't going so great. And so super dark times. So I decided to cheer myself up by spending a bit too much money on a new PC build and extreme overclocking and all this good stuff. And then I read on the Dolphin forums that Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 was finally playable consistently and like actually working and running, and you could play start to finish. And that was a very important game to me. So I hop on it and I'm like, wow, this is great. Like this is running perfectly, like full frame rate, like some graphical glitches, but like this is insanely stellar. And so I post on the forums talking about how great it is. Like, man, I can't believe this game is running full speed and all this other stuff. And so, of course, with the internet being the internet, everyone's like, dude, you're full of crap. There's no way you're running that game full speed. And so I hop on, what was it, like Raptor, the gaming service that AMD had back then that did screen recording. Because like I didn't even have OBS or even know about OBS back then. And just make a quick recording of Rogue Squadron 2 running at full speed, upload it to a YouTube channel, post a link in the forums, and just like, then what do you call this?
By the way, folks watching, if you have any questions about emulation, this is the guy to ask. But sorry, continue, Ryan.
And so I started recording more of it, being like, all right, here's some mystical graphic effects, and here's other things running on it. And then General Han Solo makes the Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 HD texture pack, so I install that and make videos of an entire playthrough of that. And out of nowhere, there's about 200 subs on this YouTube channel. It's like, oh, okay.
Wow.
Let's start doing some other stuff and jumping into this. And so
your love of Star Wars Rogue Squadron birthed your channel. I love that.
Yes, it did. It's pretty fun stuff, to be honest. And so from there, I decided I was done with school. I was tired of subjecting myself to that, so we looked into doing some other stuff, and that's where we got into the writing business and then testing, YouTube, all this other fun stuff that we do now.
Wow. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Star Wars Rogue Squadron, especially the GameCube version. And I don't know if you recall. I think I've sent you comments on your channel just being like, why how you make this run better on the Series X? And you've come up with hacks, and I've done it too, and it's just like, it blows my mind that the Series X can't run that game perfectly.
It is one of the most demanding games out of most emulators, just because of all the insane hardware hacks it does, and the fact that those hardware hacks haven't all been I think most of them have been implemented, but maybe not optimized. I'm not a dev for Dolphin, so I don't want to say one way or another, because, you know, then you're just shooting at your butt. But
yeah,
It's just so much hardware trickery went into it. Factor 5 were just wizards when it came to getting the most out of the hardware they were developing for, as they proved with the N64, with Battle for Naboo and Indiana Jones. Those last two games that they made on N64 were just insane.
True. Yep.
And then Rogue Squadron 2 is just such an insanely well-polished game for what it is. It uses so many hardware hacks and trickery to just pull out some of the most amazing visuals that console saw. And again, very well-polished game considering that it was in true development for only around 9 months. Like, it's just pretty nuts.
It was only in development for 9 months and then got released?
Yeah, pretty much. So after Factor 5 finished Indiana Jones, that's when the full team dedicated its resources to finishing Rogue Squadron 2. And they had to finish it by September so that way the disc could be pressed for the November release. So, yeah, it pretty much got finished in 9 months. There were like a few artists working on models and stuff prior to that. So, like, the whole 9-month thing is like kind of in quotations, but like the full team like really focused on it for only like 9 months. Like, it's nuts.
That's I never knew. That's insane. Wow.
Yeah.
I got one more question about Star Wars Rogue Squadron. We're trying not to make this a whole Rogue Squadron chat. But,
I'm happy to talk about whatever.
Oh, that's fair. Do you think one of those games, or both of those games, or all those games will ever see a remaster?
I hope so. That's what sucks. Like, all three of them got remastered for the Wii. Like, an entire compilation, Rogue Squadron. So it was going to be like complete remasters of 1, 2, 3, reimaginings of some of them, I believe. And it was completely finished, but never got released due to Factor 5's shutdown. So I believe it was said that there are actually 2 copies of that game in existence. Like, it does exist. So maybe we'll see that get leaked onto the internet in like another 10, 15 years, like we see with some of these other things. Like, that would be my dream. The owner, or not owner, Phil Egebrecht. I'm so sorry about butchering his name every time.
No worries.
Or no, Phil's his son, not a Phil. Julian. There we go. Julian stated in an IGN interview back in like 2017 that he wanted to port it to Switch if he ever got permission to. So that would have been cool. But like, there is an updated version of it that exists that I'm hoping we see one day. I would love to see a full-on remaster of the entire franchise for current systems. And I hope so. Like, I really do, but I doubt it.
Damn. Wow, thank you for that. It's insane. Well, speaking about Nintendo, they're infamous for their strict emulation policy. And do you ever think they're ever going to be successful? Like, do you think they will try to make Microsoft like stop the emulation that's going on right now with their dev mode?
There's no legal precedence that would allow them to.
Right.
So, I mean, if they want to start a whole new lawsuit, it would basically be equivalent to trying to stop PC emulation. That's the whole point of dev mode. It allows users a sandbox for them to do whatever the heck they want. So that's one of the reasons why retail mode, like, they were able, like, Microsoft shut down retail mode because that would put them more legally liable, as I understand it. And so that's why they've fought against retail mode. And I mean, it's no secret I've never been a full fan of retail mode.
Yeah, no, I've watched it.
But like, I loved when everyone would get on my case, be like, "Oh, retail mode." I'm like, "That's cool. Go ahead and use it. I don't care. I'm not going to cover it. Like, I'm not going to do it." And then I finally made a video about it because I was just so tired of everyone like badgering me about it.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, "All right, it's right there." And then, like, I'm not going to show the full install process ever again after that point. And so I would just like mention it, being like, "Here's the steps you need to do. You can figure it out from there for yourself." And so the badgering would continue, you know? So it's like, oh, whatever, I don't care. And then when they shut down retail mode, it's like, oh, where'd all my haters go?
Speaking about
anyone, I don't see anyone hating on me anymore about retail mode. Okay.
Speaking about your haters, I've seen you share on your Twitter some pretty and let's be a little well, we don't have to be nice. Dumb comments. What's
Oh
the
my gosh.
dumbest comment or question next to someone asking for illegal links to ROMs, which you constantly say throughout your video? I will not. You don't give out links to illegal ROMs, and you still get questioned. But anyway,
Yeah, it's good stuff. Like, I want to put it out there. Like, I could care less about people downloading ROMs. I don't care. If you want to download Panzer Dragoon Saga, go for it. I don't care. What I care about is the livelihood of my business and my channel, and illegal distribution is not an ideal method for keeping your stuff alive. So, no, I'm not going to show that down.
no, I agree.
So, I don't understand. Like, Google's been around for like 25-ish years at this point. Like, it's just like type it in. Like, it ain't hard to find illegal download links. Like, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, unfortunately, one thing I learned during one of my tech writing courses back in college, the average intelligence of anything that you write or create needs to be directed at a 5th grade level. Like, this is why acronyms like KISS and all this other stuff exist. You got to keep it simple, stupid, because it's just going to go over the head of a lot of people, and it's unfortunate that the education system has failed some of these people as much as it has. But
I mean, the passing average, I believe, in the States is 65. So
yeah, I mean, we could discuss educational reform at any point. But so,
sorry, yeah.
So you just get some really bonehead comments, and it's just part of the it's just part of being a
creator.
Personality that puts themselves out there. I'm sure you've gotten your share of bonehead comments in your shows and just in your chat. Like, it's just part of it. Mm-hmm. I like showing them because I think they are so like, here's the word I want to use. They're like so absurd at times. Other times it's just completely rude. And I'm not gonna lie, I like being I come from an era where and an area growing up was like I wasn't very physically prowess, so I had to rely on wit to make my comebacks and get back at people. So some of that stuck around, as much as I try not to let it in the comment section. But when someone's really asking for it, I will happily throw it back at them. Mm-hmm. It's one of my bad character traits. I understand that.
I've seen your responses.
Like, I'm not gonna apologize for it. Like, I know I shouldn't do it, but at the same time, it also helps me not go insane from what some of these people say and think.
I have a really good question for the chat. First off, Norris Flake sub to your channel. Thank you, Norris.
Oh,
that's
thank
awesome.
you, Norris. You're a champ.
Yes, he throws back the sass. He gets back sass, but
I will throw the sass back. I am a firm believer in ask a stupid question, get a stupid answer.
Yeah.
That's not to say that I'm willing to help people. I love helping people when they are genuinely asking for it. Like, if someone comes in with attitude and tries to throw that at you, it's like, all right, well, I'm not going to help you now. Now you're just going to get the sass.
Yeah.
But no, I think the biggest peeves I get in the comment section is things that's covered in the video. It's like, I made a literal video about it. How about you just watch it?
To be honest, I was like, I say I'm like average with tech. Like, I know how it works. And if I wanted to figure out more stuff, it wouldn't take me long, especially with the help of your videos. I never messed with emulation before. But until I saw maybe PSP. I think that was really easy. I don't know if I had games, but it was more putting movies or something. I can't remember. That was probably
yeah.
But your videos definitely helped me. It's helped my show, so I just wanted to thank you before I forget.
Oh, no, I appreciate it. Thanks
your videos are. Oh, thank you for making. They're literal step by step. I will literally go step by step, and then if something doesn't work, I will rewind the video and be like, oh yeah, he did that, I didn't do that, all right, let's try this.
I tried to make them as much monkey see monkey do as possible.
I appreciate it. I don't know what that says about me, but thank you.
No, it doesn't say anything about you. It's just how to make it simple and step by step. Like, there's a lot of people that will just skip over stuff.
Yeah.
That's something that kind of irritates me, and why I stopped watching other tutorials and was like, I'm just like, people skip over how to set a BIOS. People will skip over something simple like, hey, you might need to turn off this setting if you want this change to work, or something like this.
Yeah.
And so it's just
Yeah. Wall Goblin asks, do you have a favorite console, I guess, of all time or right now?
Favorite console. So it's kind of a hard question because I generally enjoy most consoles.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a lot of haters right now, except for the PS3. I think the PS3 is one of the worst hardware releases ever. Don't get me wrong. There's awesome games for it. But I hate the system. I hate using the system.
I agree with you. I agree with you too. That I spent. What was the most expensive model when it first launched? 600, 800?
$600, yes.
I spent $600. I woke up at 2 in the morning to go to the GameStop just just for the pre-order, not to pick up the console, folks. 2 in the morning, because I don't know if you remember, GameStop sent out the emails like at like midnight. Yep. They're like, oh, you can pre-order at GameStop tomorrow at midnight, folks. I remember that, and I was in New York, and I was like, if I head to the city now, I'll make it there by 1 or 2.
Oh my gosh, let's go.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong. Yeah. So many good games on the system. I'm not going to hate on the games because I do enjoy them, but like, I just despise ever having to load up that system.
No, that's fair. It blocks capture cards. I didn't fucking know that. So I tried to stream it on here, and I was like,
yes, all Sony systems are a nightmare to capture in one way or another. Yeah. Even PS4 and PS5. It is so ridiculous. Like, I don't understand how they made it so difficult.
Why?
Especially with the PS3, like forced HDCP. PS4, you could turn it off, but it still breaks on something sometimes. Freaking PS Vita TV has forced HDCP again, just like the PS3. And I haven't even bothered trying to capture a PS5 yet. Like, I just like, no, thanks.
Norris Flakes said, I had a coin ops modded OG Xbox, and one day the mods just disappeared. So on the original
I wonder if the OG Xbox dashboard got updated from a game you played or something.
Ooh.
If it wasn't using the current dashboard. Because that's the problem with soft mods. If you're not on the latest dashboard, it'll override them, and then it's like...
Wall Goblin ask, what type of mic do you use?
I've got an Elgato Wave XLR at the moment.
Yeah, very nice.
No settings applied or anything. This is just straight what it goes for. So, I mean, I can highly recommend it.
Elgato Wave 4. Wow.
But back to the favorite console question here, because we didn't quite answer it. I answered.
Oh yeah,
we went to
PS3. You're right. Sorry, go ahead.
But for me, it's top of the list is N64, just for a number of reasons. There's the nostalgia factor. Like, N64 was when I was starting to buy my own games and things like that. So like, it's a ton of nostalgia for that. The multiplayer aspect was a ton of fun, and then in the recent years, learning about its development history. Seeing what decisions could have been made differently to make it more popular. Because, like, you think about the fact that if the N64 had used CDs instead of cartridges, PlayStation probably would not be where it is today. Because every developer jumped ship on Nintendo because of their, like, terrible third-party policies. And then the fact that they were still using cartridges, like, the last straw for so many of them, like Square.
Wasn't that what gave...
Nah, screw that.
Gave birth to the PS1? Is... the falling out Nintendo had with Sony, and Sony took that CD-ROM technology and was like, yeah, well, you know what, we'll make our own
Sony system. And Nintendo were going to have a partnership to release a CD-ROM add-on for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
So the Super PlayStation prototype that Terry Diebold had, being a prototype of that partnership. And now there's a lot of back and forth about what really went down. From my understanding, it was going to give Sony way too much control over the system and basically cut Nintendo out of all the profits and everything CD based. Thus being like, okay, well, why is this even worth it to us if you're taking all the money? And then they canceled the deal and went to Philips and did the CDI games instead.
Wow.
And so Sony took what they learned and made the PS1. And the PS1 came out in December 1994 in Japan. And it did okay. Like, it was doing okay. And then the N64 came out in, I believe, what was it? February 96 in Japan. And then September 96 in US.
Oh.
And so by the end of 1996, the N64 had actually outsold the 16 months life sales of the PS1.
Wow.
But because the N64 hardly had any support, cartridges, and development times that took so long, everyone jumped ship on N64 and went to PS1.
Ryan, do you have a podcast? You really should have a podcast.
We have a Game of the Month podcast, yeah, but I mean,
no, you gotta
stuff in some history videos and things like that.
You got a wonderful intellect because you're taking me back. You're making me remember that stuff too because I grew up with that stuff.
That's one of the reasons why it's my favorite, because it's like this was such a pivotal point in gaming history that gave rise to Sony being the unstoppable juggernaut it is today, the decline of Sega, and then Nintendo realizing it couldn't compete traditionally any longer with the way they had been doing before.
Wow.
Like, that's one of the reasons why I love that system so much too. So it's like, I love it because I owned it as a kid.
N64.
I love it because of its history. And, you know, I really do actually love a majority of its game library. People talk about how there's like only 10 good games on N64.
No, there was more than that.
I was like, bro, I could list about 60, 70 games that I could replay at the drop of a hat.
There was more than that.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, there's bloat, of course, but like every console has that. The more successful a console is, the more crapware it's gonna have. So I mean,
yeah.
Look at the Wii.
Oh yeah. So Norris brought up two things. I thought there was some massive secret to the N64 expansion pack. And have you ever come across a DD6? What is a DD64?
Oh, man, a disk drive? Nah, I've never seen a disk drive. I would love to get one, but they're $1,000 plus, and that's way outside my budget.
Jesus. Okay. That's fair.
It was just a Japanese-only disk drive add-on for the N64 that was going to be bringing about more developer interest because it gave more space for developers to use, because the biggest N64 carts were like 64 megabytes. They were very expensive. And so these were basically like, I'd say the closest thing that they could be compared to would be like a zip drive disk. So they're higher capacity than a floppy drive disk. So they held like 64 megabytes also, and they would be a lot cheaper.
The DD64?
Yeah, the 64 disk drive. And it got hyped up a lot during E3s for a lot of the N64's life, but it never made it to the States, unfortunately. So it was Japanese only. And you could get it as part of an online subscription through some internet company in Japan. And it actually had a modem. Like, it had online functionality.
Wow.
Like, it's nuts.
N64 was almost online. Or I guess it was.
It was online in Japan.
In Japan. Weird.
Yeah. Just like the Super Nintendo with its Satellaview.
Why has Nintendo always been so weird with online? Can you answer me that?
I wish I knew. I wish I knew, because you look at the GameCube. You look at the GameCube in that era of games. You had PlayStation diving into online play. Microsoft enters the gaming scene full force with broadband-only online play and shifted the entire landscape when it came to online gaming on consoles.
Yeah.
The Dreamcast was all in on online play.
Yep, dial up.
Yep.
Dial up online. Yeah, we'll never experience. Yeah, young kids will never experience.
I had it till 2008.
Someone calls your house. You're playing fucking Quake on the Dreamcast, and if someone fucking calls your house with dial up, guess what? That match is over because you just got disconnected. A phone, and then your mom would be talking for like 5. Mom, come on! I gotta get back in here.
Play quick.
Yeah, I want to play. What was that Alien Tank game? I remember that was.
Oh my gosh, yes.
There was so many weird online games. Anyway.
And so out of all of them, Microsoft had the best approach. It was a very centralized system, friends lists, like not per game, like it was a complete cross-platform games list and all that, like friends list. Like it was a very well implemented thing. And then you have Nintendo, and Nintendo did release a modem adapter and a broadband adapter for the GameCube. They were both online, like it was an online capable system, and only 2 games.
Fantasy Star.
Three games. Phantasy Star Online 1 and 2, Phantasy Star Online 3, and then Homefront Online, which was Japanese only.
Wait,
like 3 games.
Homefront, but that was the Alien Tank game, right?
I think so. I honestly have never played it. I have no idea what it is.
Anyway. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
And so the system was online capable. You would buy an adapter just like you would on the PlayStation 2. So why more developers didn't take advantage of it, I have no idea. Like, it was an online capable system. It could have used all of the same servers that the PS2 versions of these games ran on, because most of the PS2 stuff ran off of GameSpy and other like hosted servers like that, because Sony didn't have a centralized like peer-to-peer system like Xbox did. It was reliant on GameSpy. And they still relied on GameSpy well into the PS3. That's why Sony PS3 games went offline when GameSpy shut down. So there was no reason, really, that the GameCube couldn't have been as well online as the Xbox or PS2 in my mind, because it did have the systems to do it.
It
just made no sense.
Nintendo hates its customer base. I mean, sometimes it does feel like that.
Oh, man. I think that the best years Nintendo ever had were the Iwata years, man. Iwata was such a great CEO.
Oh, yeah.
It makes me so sad that the Wii U
When did he pass away? Oh, yeah, the Wii U.
He died, yeah.
Because it was just, I worked for a marketing company. I did brand ambassador work at a mall for Nintendo.
Oh,
for the Wii U. And in the meeting, I don't even know, I don't think I signed an NDA. But in the meeting.
That's well over anyway.
In the meeting, they were like, so the message of this campaign for the Wii U is we gotta educate parents and try to explain to them that this is a new system, and it's not an attachment for the Wii, because every time they find out it's a new system, like, oh, bye.
Yep. I worked at GameStop during those years when the Wii U launched, and I would make it a personal mission to sell Wii U's, because I thought it was a great system. And so I would do my best to sell those, because I thought it was fantastic. I was so happy when they finally gave it the update to make it load a little bit faster, because day one Wii U load speeds were just so bad. Oh my gosh.
Oh shit. You are 100%. You're 100% right. Mega 64 made a video about loading up a game, and it took forever.
It took forever, and then when you'd close out to the menu, it took forever.
The whole theme of the video is like somebody lived a whole life, and then got old, and the game updated, and they're like, "Oh, we can finally play Mario Kart."
Yep, it was bad, and then they finally updated it, and it's like by the end of its life, the Wii U was a very solid system.
All right.
Like, it didn't live up to all of its promises because it failed. Like, we were supposed to see 2 gamepad support and a number of other things. I had always hoped for a DS slash 3DS add-on, like we got with the Game Boy player.
Right.
Because it had the 2 screens. Like, it was the perfect system to see that. And I mean, we did get DS Virtual Console eventually, but like an add-on to play all your physical games would have been so cool.
The Wii U is the only Nintendo system next to the VR headset I didn't own. Those are the only Nintendo systems I never owned. Every Nintendo system I've owned from its original conception.
Yeah. I think one of the funnest things about modern Wii U ownership is the fact that you can essentially natively / emulate every single Nintendo system released up to it on it. So it can literally be your go-to for everything Nintendo except for Switch.
Does it run Star Wars Rogue Squadron better?
Yep.
Than the series?
Well, it doesn't run the N64 versions. No, unfortunately.
But it play the GameCube version?
Yes, because it can actually natively play GameCube games.
The Wii U?
Yeah. It can't play the discs. They made it so it couldn't accept the discs, but it is essentially an upgraded Wii.
Oh.
And So the way the Wii worked, the Wii essentially was an upgraded GameCube.
Yeah.
So when you put a GameCube game in the Wii, it actually changes to a new operating mode that sets the CPU speed back down to GameCube values and cuts off access to all of the extra Wii hardware. And so what clever hackers have been able to do is essentially get those GameCube games to run in Wii mode. So it's actually better than playing it in original hardware because you have basically double the CPU speed.
It's an
upgraded, not quite double, mind you, but
upgraded GameCube.
Yeah, it's
so
like games that had inconsistent frame rates with unlocked frame rates. So take, for example, Need for Speed Underground. The game will run about 45 FPS on GameCube. You load that up in Nintendo on a Wii or Wii U, you're getting locked 60.
Is that why you always show that in your emulation videos? You're like, if it could run Need for Speed Underground, you're good.
I just like that game. It's an easy one to showcase in videos because it doesn't have a stupid long intro cutscene. Like, it's just, you can just hit start and it's on. Like, it's just so easy to showcase it.
Yeah,
like,
every time you show that, I was like, you really like Need for
so
Speed.
many videos that I show that in. And like, I don't even care because it's easy. Like, I would love to show off Rogue Squadron 2 more, but it's like, I don't want to sit there for 10 minutes for the intro cutscenes, because if you don't have a save file, you can't skip the cutscene, and you're stuck watching the cutscene. And it's like, I make a release, almost all of my videos the same day. Like, I wake up, I'm going to cover this today. Bam, here's everything recorded. Bam, here's everything edited. Bam, it's uploaded. Now we gotta wait 2 hours for YouTube to process it. Bam, it's released. So spending 10 minutes waiting for the intro cutscene to end is just like, no. Need for Speed, here we go.
So you're saying if I want the best GameCube system is the Wii U?
Wii. Go Wii.
Oh yeah?
So the Wii U's HDMI output is actually pretty poor. So if you compare,
but the Wii didn't have HDMI, or
the Wii did not have HDMI. It had component video, but Electron Shepherd has released a very low-cost HDMI mod for the Wii. It's literally like $35-$40, and
do you have to disassemble it, or is plug and play?
It's a solder mod, yeah. But if you have pretty good confidence in your soldering skills, you could get an HDMI equipped Wii for dirt cheap. And the results are really stunning. And
I'm not good. Yeah, I'm not good. I haven't soldered, so
it was the very second HDMI mod I ever did.
So original Wii modded with an HDMI is the GameCube.
That's gonna give you like superb quality, yeah.
By emulation, could I put the disc in? Would it improve the disc?
Yeah, if you have a backwards compatible Wii, yeah, you put the GameCube disc in, like, you're good to go.
But the HDMI is gonna look great.
It looks good, yep. And so, but yeah, you install Nintendo on it. You have to homebrew it, install Nintendo on it. You can play from disc, you can play from USB drive, SD card, and it's just double performance on all of your unlocked frame rate titles. Like, it's great.
Interesting. All right.
I am very grateful to the homebrew community for what they've done for some of these systems. That's for dang sure.
That's nuts. I'm gonna ask you one question. I'm gonna take you out of everything we've been talking about.
That's good. That's good.
This is the final question, and I'll let you go here. Since I'm doing my season right now, I'm live from the Bermuda Triangle right now, right?
Oh, let's go.
So, have you? I mean, I don't know when was the last time anyone's actually thought of the Bermuda Triangle, but when you did you have a theory about it that you were like, this is my theory, this is what happens here at the Bermuda Triangle? I'm just curious, what would your theory be of the Bermuda Triangle? It doesn't have to be a fantasy, it could be real, it could be like, you're like, it's nothing, you guys are insane.
Nah. There's enough evidence to suggest that there's something going on there. Like,
Mod Wife
not all you want.
Mod Wife is in the chat, and they say they know. I know this clown. Do you know Mod Wife?
Yes.
Okay.
So check out that username right there, everybody. Right there. She is a mod of my channel and my wife. It's a pretty on the nose username right there, isn't it?
Mod Wife.
Oh yeah.
Hey, this guy.
Back when we were streaming more regularly before we had more kids.
Wow. All right. That's
Oh
beautiful.
man.
What's your theory of the Bermuda Triangle?
So I'm gonna go with the electromagnetic interference of it right there. So I mean, you're in the middle of it right now, so you're just getting that nice signal boost from being in the middle of it. All that extra energy going around there, like you're just getting that good boost.
Best
So
boost.
I believe in the electromagnetic theory and things like that. Just really messing with stuff. Like I've seen what interference can do to equipment. Like it's insane.
Why do you think it's so electric in the Bermuda Triangle?
You know,
in
I
5
honestly
minutes.
have no idea. Like, I'm willing to believe it. If someone gave me an explanation for it and it sounded reasonable enough, I'd probably be like, yeah, sure, okay, let's go with that. But who knows? Maybe there's just like a big giant alien spaceship down there. Like, who knows? Like, until someone actually goes down there, we're never gonna know. It's to where they dump all the old batteries. See, there we go. I like it.
It's where they
like
dumped all.
I like it. There you go. There you go. There it is.
That's actually
that is
not
headcanon.
That is not a bad theory because my wife is always like, she doesn't want to throw the batteries away. I'm like, okay, what do you do with them? She's like, I don't know. I've been trying to figure that out. I don't know where we go with these. I was like, we have a drawer of them. They're probably killing us. Get them out of here.
They're just gonna melt through the bottom of that drawer. Don't worry.
Yeah, get them. No. Witchcraft for these batteries. So
yeah.
that's all right. Electric. Maybe you full all the batteries. I like the batteries. I think that might.
That works for me. That is now my headcanon. So there we go.
There you go. That's
where they dump all the old batteries. Like that's why. Like they're all the battery acid, the mercury, the lithium. Like it's all just meshing together to form this uber conglomerate of electromagnetic energy. Like there we go. I like it. We're gonna go with it. Why not?
And then it's slowly melting to the other side of Earth, and bye Earth.
It's gonna just cool off the entire core. That's what's causing climate change. Like there we go.
There you go.
We solved it all, everybody. It's all solved. No more mystery.
At this point, the way things are, I'd be fucking surprised. I would be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, there's Garbage Island, guys. That's a real thing. That's where I should be live from.
Why not? Why not?
There's an actual garbage island. Google it. It's a fucking floating garbage island.
Oh yeah. Look at the mothball fleets of every country. Like look those up. Those are freaking cool.
Mothball fleets?
Yeah, all the naval vessels, military vessels, I believe some commercial vessels too. Don't quote me on that part, but they just have them all moored out at sea. Just sitting there.
Why?
In case they ever need to be used, decommission them later.
Is there anybody in them?
Yeah, so I mean, just Google mothball fleet. Like it's pretty crazy.
All right, mothball fleet. Something to look up later in the show, folks. Ryan, you've been an absolute delight. I don't want to take any more of your time. Thank you so much. I'll give you a round of applause here. There you go. And let the kind folks know your channel again, where you're about, where they can find you.
All right, so Archades Games over on YouTube. If you are interested in, I like to call it high-end emulation because I like to go for accuracy settings based on original hardware over flashier things like upscaling a lot of the times. Game preservation, history, not so much the history videos these days anymore, unfortunately, but tutorials, what have you, random nonsense, modern game reviews, accessory reviews, like we cover it all. Then catch us on Twitter, iStrike256, and Twitch, iStrike256. So we do it all. But appreciate you reaching out. It was a lot of fun.
I appreciate you coming out because I was gonna be honest with you. When I reached out, I was like, I've been thinking about it for a while. And I was like, man, people who actually watch this show.
That's fun, man.
They're like, oh, I didn't know they let people stream from the mental institution. All right.
I thought that was just our country right now. Oh,
And that's it. We're gonna end this chat. I can't be Ryan. You've been a pleasure. Thank you so much. Hearts in the chats from everybody. I posted their channel link on there. Like, follow, sub, whatever you can do goes a long way. This guy works really hard in his videos. They've helped me. So thank you so much, Ryan. Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Anytime. Catch you later.
Catch you later. Have a good night.